Hi, I'm Bill Weeks. I'm from the Dartmouth Institute for Health Policy and Clinical Practice. My interests are business and economic aspects of healthcare delivery. We've previously published work that examined the returns on educational investment for physicians and other professional groups. And in particular, we looked at primary care physicians, procedure-based physicians, and three other professional groups: business persons, dentists, and lawyers. Because they all work different amounts of time during a week, we had to adjust our measures of return, which were measures of net present value and internal rate of return, by the number of hours worked. After adjusting for this, we found that over a working lifetime, primary care physicians made the worst returns on their educational investment, while business persons using the internal rate of return metric had the best returns on educational investment. What we did was documented the educational costs of an investment in a particular career pursuit. And then we spread that educational investment over the actual time that it occurred from a modeled perspective of a 18-year-old going into college throughout their working lifetime and completing their work at age 65. So from 18 to 65, we modeled the incomes and educational costs of physicians and other professional groups. We then performed a discounted cash flow analysis at about a 5% discount rate to compare the net present value of the educational investment for primary care physicians, procedure-based physicians, dentists, lawyers, and business persons. In our original studies, we modeled business persons' income to peak at about age 52 at an income of about $150,000 per year. If you substitute in the average banker's income of about $600,000 per year, the internal rate of return metric goes much higher, from about 25% to 32%, and the net present value of the educational investment really dwarfs the other professional groups. In particular, compared to primary care physicians, that for a investment banker would be about 4 times that of a primary care physician. We were really interested just in the educational investment and the returns to different professional groups. So the market pays what the market pays, and bankers may very well earn their keep at this very high rate of reimbursement. I think the concern is that given the monetary and temporal heft of the educational investment, that those who might consider going into primary care practice might be actually drawn into going into other fields, and that might lead to a dearth of primary care physicians in the future. That's concerning because obviously we need primary care physicians, and they contribute a lot to the fabric and makeup of the U.S. healthcare system. I'm not sure that there's a real market for doctors, particularly primary care physicians, in part because of the heavy regulation by the U.S. government. I mean, most primary care physicians get a substantial part of their income through either Medicare or Medicaid, and those are price-fixed rates, so they can't really allow a market to form around what they might be worth. So there are no distinctions based on quality or performance or anything like that, at least at the present. So I'm not sure that there's a market for primary care physicians. I think investment bankers might be a little concerned as the government becomes more involved in their field that their high returns on educational investment might be limited in the future. When considering the high monetary and temporal costs of their educational investments, primary care physicians appear to really be underpaid compared to other professional groups. There is a concern that this could lead to a brain drain, and people who might alternatively pursue primary care would go into other fields such as business or law. One easy way to address the disparity is actually to subsidize primary care physicians' early educational costs. That way they wouldn't accrue the great debt that they normally do and wouldn't have the hit on their educational returns.